In the midst of World War II, a unique and unconventional unit, known as the Ghost Army, was created by the U.S. military. Unlike traditional combat forces, this top-secret unit was composed of artists, designers, and engineers tasked with one remarkable mission: to deceive the German army using elaborate illusions, convincing soundscapes, and ingenious camouflage. Armed with inflatable tanks, fake radio transmissions, and powerful loudspeakers, the Ghost Army became masters of deception, tricking enemy forces into believing that Allied divisions were where they were not. Through their creative ingenuity, the Ghost Army helped divert German troops from real targets, saving countless lives and aiding in critical operations, from the lead-up to D-Day to the Battle of the Bulge. Their contributions, kept classified for decades, are now celebrated as one of the most innovative uses of psychological warfare in military history, showing how the art of illusion can be as potent a weapon as any on the battlefield. In the heat of World War II, as battle lines were drawn across Europe, a small unconventional unit would play a decisive role in the Allies' victory. They fought not with bullets, but with imagination, deception, and the art of illusion. This was the Ghost Army, officially known as the 23rd Headquarters Special Troops. The Ghost Army was a top-secret unit composed of artists, designers, engineers, and actors. Their mission was simple yet daring: deceive the enemy and save lives by making the German forces believe the Allies were stronger and more widespread than they actually were. In the lead-up to the D-Day invasion of Normandy, the Allies launched Operation Fortitude, a massive deception plan to make the Germans think the invasion would happen at Pas-de-Calais. The Ghost Army was called upon to bring this illusion to life, using inflatable armaments, fake camps, and elaborate camouflage. They made it seem as though a massive force was gathering across from Calais. Meanwhile, real Allied troops were preparing for the invasion of Normandy. By the time D-Day arrived, German forces were misled, holding back reinforcements from the real front. Operation Fortitude was a success, leading to the Allies gaining a critical foothold in France, and the Ghost Army had played a pivotal role. 6 months later, during the brutal winter of 1944, the Ghost Army was called upon again, this time during the Battle of the Bulge. The Germans had launched a surprise counteroffensive, and the Allies needed every advantage to hold the line. We set up powerful loudspeakers that could project the sounds of tanks and troop movements for miles. At night, you could hear what sounded like an entire division on the move. In reality, it was just us in our recordings. The Ghost Army used sound deception, fake radio transmissions, and inflatable tanks to give the appearance of a much larger force. This helped to spread out the German advance, slowing them down and giving Allied forces time to regroup and counter the offensive. The psychological effect on the enemy was powerful. The Germans were uncertain where the real front lines lay, weakening their offensive and contributing to the ultimate Allied victory in the Battle of the Bulge. As the Allies moved closer to Germany, one of their last major obstacles was the Rhine River. In March 1945, the Ghost Army once again went to work, setting up dummy camps and fake equipment to deceive German defenses. Our job was to make it look like we had a massive buildup of troops at the crossing points. Every inflatable tank, every piece of dummy equipment, every bit of it was designed to convince the enemy that we were preparing to cross at different points from the actual plan. The Germans were forced to spread their forces thin, guarding multiple locations along the Rhine. This allowed the Allies to cross with less resistance, speeding their advance into Germany and paving the way for the final stages of the war. The Ghost Army's operations remained classified for decades, with many of its veterans unable to share their stories. It wasn't until the 1990s that the full extent of their contributions came to light. We weren't fighting on the front lines, But we were saving lives by keeping the enemy guessing. It was strange, risky work, but we knew it mattered. In 2014, the U.S. Congress formally recognized the Ghost Army's contributions, and in 2021, they were awarded the Congressional Gold Medal for their bravery and innovation. Their legacy has since inspired generations to see the power of creativity in warfare. Today, the Ghost Army's story is celebrated in books, documentaries, and exhibitions, bringing to light the experiences of soldiers who fought with imagination instead of guns. Military strategists now study their tactics, understanding how psychological warfare and deception can be as powerful as direct combat. The legacy of the Ghost Army lives on, a testament to the idea that sometimes the greatest weapon on the battlefield is the mind. The Ghost Army, a team of artists, engineers, and soldiers, proved that ingenuity could turn the tide of battle. They leave behind a legacy of bravery, deception, and the power of human creativity in the face of war.